130 days. 130 days. That was the last time Cyberpunk 2077 received a truly major update. We did get patch 1.23 towards the end of June, but as CDPR style, that update only addressed hyper-specific mission issues. Since then, it has been radio silence from the once esteemed video game company. G'day everyone, how you doing? Today, I'll once again be sharing my thoughts on the current state of Cyberpunk 2077 as we all await the much needed patch 1.3. At present, the developers at CDPR have been no doubt toiling away, doing whatever they can do to fix a game that executives decided to push out for a quick buck, only to send ripples throughout the gaming industry, ushering companies to delay any AAA game with the slightest whiff of a glitch. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, not by a long shot, but it's fun to think that out of all the companies there are, it was CDPR who upset the apple cart. And yet, despite dozens of gigabytes of patches and hotfixes, Cyberpunk has changed in only the slightest of ways. Yeah, the game is more stable and plays infinitely better than launch. For reference, I'm playing on a PS5, but there is still so much this game lacks that in truth, this is nothing more than a game that would have been considered adequate back in December of last year. For reference, 8 months after The Witcher Wild Hunt was launched, players already had the first expansion, Heart and Stone, to play through. Granted, during that time, CDPR didn't have to deal with a global pandemic, nor the ramifications of a ransom, but they're not the only company that has been working around COVID, so that excuse only goes so far. But rest assured, the Cyberpunk Twitter account is always there to remind you of what the players have been up to in the game, just as the fans are always there to remind CDPR of how many broken promises they delivered. Paul Tassi of Forbes has done a fantastic job covering all things video game, and with his latest article, it concerns Cyberpunk 2077. In it, he details the lack of communication, the hunger and anger the fanbase are stewing in, and even goes as far to provide his own roadmap for the much destitute title. And I agree 100% with everything he has to say. One point in particular is the next-gen upgrade, originally slated to appear towards the end of the year and after the free DLC, but for me, I would rather experience the hopefully improved game with current-gen capabilities with the DLC, not receive the DLC and then wait for an upgrade. It's revisionist history to go back over the details surrounding the rocky launch and even rockier post-launch, but to have the CDPR Twitter accounts tone-deaf bragging of all the accomplishments in Night City is further salt in the wound. The absolute worst part is the lack of communication on behalf of the management team. I've seen some comparisons of Cyberpunk to No Man's Sky, and yes, the devs did the same thing. Hello Games disappeared off the map for almost 2 years and brought the game back from extinction. Now that I mention it, it's funny how the games share similarities. Both were hyped beyond belief. Only thing is, Cyberpunk had several hour-long promotional stunts. Both games promised the world, and both games fell flat on their ass. The only difference? CD Projekt Red happens to be the largest video game company in Europe, bigger than Ubisoft. The launch as it was should never have happened, and the roadmap has ultimately gone the way of all roadmaps, a potholed road to nowhere. I've said my piece before regarding the many missing features that most other loot-heavy RPGs have, so I'm not going to touch on it here, but what I will say is that those missing components should have been included by now. They are simply quality of life additions that would have made experiencing the underwhelming story a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, Cyberpunk was fun. I wouldn't have finished it if I didn't enjoy it, and I was lucky that many of the glitches I experienced were few and far between, although the game crashed an awful fucking lot. 4 times in 30 minutes was the record. Even if patch 1.3 comes out tomorrow alongside the free DLC, I don't want to play through it again without the current gen upgrades. And if that doesn't release until the end of the year, I won't simply have time. The end of 2021 is backloaded with some truly great titles, not to mention 2022, with games like Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, or Ashes of Creation. I'm 3 weeks away from experiencing the Ghost of Tsushima expansion, and in September we have Kena Bridge of Spirits, games that will take preference over Cyberpunk any day of the week. CDPR needs to be careful when they release patch 1.3, the DLC, current gen upgrade, and expansions, simply because Cyberpunk is tainted. True diehard fans will come back, sure, but the majority won't. most people will wait to see if the game breaks again, wait to see if any of the DLC actually works, wait to see if the current gen upgrades do anything. I would love to dive back into Night City, but in its current state, Cyberpunk is best left collecting dust on my shelf and saving gigabytes for better games. Thank you for watching, everyone. Just a short video today to share my thoughts and grievances about Cyberpunk. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment below. If not, then please like it 3 times. Take care out there. See you later.